Hi, my name is Deepthi Pandey. I am a recent graduate from the University of Michigan School of Information with an MSI degree in human-computer interaction. I'm making this video because there are some questions that I keep getting on LinkedIn, and I thought that this video might help if you have similar questions, if you're considering the same school or similar degree. Um, a little about my background. I was a computer science graduate in my undergraduate degree, and then I did 3 years of computer science slash software development in industry, and then I came to the School of Information, and I will answer some of the questions that I get asked. So the first one is, do you like it? How was your experience? So I spent 2 years in this degree. I overall really enjoyed my experience. Good things came out of it. I learned a lot in interaction design, graphic design, information, and a little more about software development, and that was interesting. I loved it. A lot of people found it interesting. There's a lot of option for you to choose from different electives, and it's nice. I would say it was a really good experience. There's some excellent faculty in the School of Information, and I would highly recommend it to at least consider the school if it's one of your options. Um, Something that I get asked a lot is how to navigate expense, because University of Michigan, in spite of being a public school, is a really expensive school. I understand that. I had given it a lot of thought because even though I had a full-time job in India that was decently paid, I still could not afford that kind of expense. That's like $30,000 per semester, and that's 4 semesters. That's just tuition, and I could not think about how I could afford it. Um, it's difficult, it's challenging, it's difficult to even imagine, but it is possible. So one thing that I would like to tell you, if you are considering it, is do not let just the expense stop you. I know it's extremely difficult, it is very challenging, but there are ways to get around it. Student loans is one. Definitely, that's something that most commonly people do. I was under the impression before I came here that you needed to have a lot of money backing up before you got into a good school and even got a tuition loan. But that's not true. When I came in, I did not have things to back me up, like a house or some kind of security. Did not have that. I went through Prodigy Finance, and there are other financing options as well. In the United States, there's credit unions. In India, there was State Bank of India, HDFC. Those gave competitive offers, but it is still an expensive loan, but it's possible to do it. That's one way. I did that in the first time, and there's some funding opportunities and which are really good in the University of Michigan. I would recommend looking into GSA opportunities, that is graduate student appointments. They come of two kinds. There's GSI, which is graduate student instructor, which is like teaching assistant, but a very good package that the University of Michigan provides to you as a graduate student. There's also GSRA, which is graduate student research assistant. So you get to work on research with the professor or someone on the faculty, and you get paid for it. You get tuition waiver. It could be full waiver or partial waiver, and a stipend along with it, and really good health insurance. So definitely something to look into. I will send links of that in the description box. Another question that's connected, but I get asked a lot. There's two schools that I got accepted to. Which one do I choose from? And it's usually when I hear those questions, it's like the only arguments that I hear usually is the school A has like $23,000 fee and school B has $30,000 fee, and then this one's maybe in New York or in somewhere in the Bay Area in California, and this other school is maybe in Michigan. I would just say, irrespective of what school you choose, the tuition fee, that number in itself, should not be your top criterion. So I know it sounds difficult, and I know it's a big challenge. It was for me too when I was considering schools. But there is so much more to this degree or any advanced degree than just the tuition. Expenses are big, but make sure that you consider other things like what do you want to do, and not get caught up into just how much money it is, because a difference of like $7,000 per semester is much smaller in the longer term. And just considering that, even though it might be really challenging, is something that I would encourage you to do, because coming out of that degree, I found out that I wouldn't have cared between those two, just the schooling prices, as much as I would have on other things like what do I want to do? What does this school do to support my dreams? What does this school do to support my skills and enhance my skills and make me more employable, perhaps, or just attractive in general in the employment areas or in a professional development? So those are things that you should be considering and asking yourself the really tough questions of what do you want to do? Where do you see yourself? What would be ideal, and what school can support those things rather than just the tuition? Even though tuition is huge, I understand. Just consider it to not be the top thing that you consider. And that's another thing that I would like to say. I get asked something like, how did I manage to get a GSI position? So a little background about me. I studied in the University of Michigan School of Information for 4 semesters. The first semester, I did not get a GSI position, but the next 3 I did, which meant that I only paid 1 semester of tuition and the other 3 were waived off, which was a pretty sweet deal, and definitely something that you can think about doing. I would encourage it. It really lowers that financial burden, which was a big thing for me. How did I do it? So in the first semester, I tried to do it in the first semester itself, and I was looking at some of the courses that I was somewhat qualified to teach or support teaching. So that was beginners and intermediate Python courses. I tried, but I didn't get through. And that was fine. I was really scared because of the there was so much work, and I started working with professors in other capacities. So I was a grader in the first semester for 2 professors. That was a very big strong connection between my first job and eventually the other jobs that came through, because those professors had worked with me, I worked with them, and understood how those relationships work, how those dynamics work, and how to grade, and what is the kind of interaction I could have with students, which made me a little more eligible to have a GSI job. So something that worked out really well for me was that I just always wanted to be like a teacher of some kind. So I was trying my best to do okay, and I must have gotten fortunate to eventually crack that. For me, what worked out was my background in computer science and how I was a little eligible to be teaching some of those programming courses. This connection that I had. I think I was always after professors and to like take me for this job, take me for that job, and how can I help you? Can I be your research assistant? Or keep asking them. So even though professors are busy people, they do not always respond to emails, and it's sometimes disheartening, and that's okay. As a student, as a person who wants things, I was very relentless in going ahead and asking again and again, can you take me? Can I have a meeting with you? Will you answer this question for me? Can you please guide me through this? Those were the things that I think put me on the radar, and I don't know if it works with everybody, but this was kind of what worked for me. And another thing that I think I was able to do was that I applied to all the jobs. So if there were like 15 jobs for GSI that were opening up, even if I qualified remotely, I applied to all of them. And eventually I got some of them that I did not really initially think that I was qualified to do. So sometimes you might not think that you're qualified enough to do a job, but somebody else might. You might just meet all the other criteria that they're looking for. So be sure to apply as much as possible. Understand that hiring you is a decision that a professor makes or an instructor makes, and the point of that is to make their life easy. So what are the challenges that some of the professors face, and how are you going to make their life easy? That is the kind of thing that you should be focusing on when you write your cover letter or resumes for GSI jobs or GSRA jobs. Make their life easier, support their research, make them see what you will bring to the table in order for them to support, your GSI position, your tuition. So you have to make them see some of it, and it requires a lot of work. For me, it required a lot of rejection. I think I applied to in these 4 years, I applied to 100 jobs, and I got only those 3 GSI jobs. So it was challenging and sometimes disheartening, but make sure that if possible, keep going and keep trying. It might just work out. So before throwing in the towel, see if you have one last shot in you before you give up. So the kind of skills and the skills that professors look for is, can you grade? Are you reliable? Will you be able to answer other students' questions in time? Do you have a track record of being there when your supervisor or your company needs you? So if you have some kind of backing of that sort, that really helps. If you could be an expert in the subject that you are applying for, in the course that you're applying for, that is always good. If you have any prior teaching experience, that is worth a lot, I think. Yes, that was really nice. And a trend that I saw in GSI appointments was some of the GSIs were students who graduated in their undergrad from U of M, and they were some kind of a grader, or they were associated with the professors in some ways. The professors knew that them as people were professional or good instructors or easy to work with. So I think it's just my speculation that it was probably for them a good choice as I think GSIs, and that's what helped professors pick those people at GSIs. I was not one of them, but I saw something like that that was working out. Definitely, if you have prior teaching experience, that was useful. Prior teaching experience, expertise in that course, and keep on the radar. It's so many students in the cohort, in every cohort, and professors are really busy people, so they might just miss out your application or whatever it is that you want them to do for you. So keep at it. Have an attitude where you understand that here you're the person who needs something or aspires for something, and they are people who are probably in that position to be able to hire you. So it is really important that they see the value that you bring to the table as their assistants, and not really assistants, as instructors in the University of Michigan. So but they should be able to see value in you and how you would stand out as opposed to all the other applicants. In grading, communicating with students, in teaching, maybe preparing quizzes, those kind of works are, I think, something that shine for you and speak for you in your favor. Those are some questions that I have heard. Let me know if you have any other questions. You can let me know in the comment box, or send me a message on LinkedIn, and I will try my best to respond to you in a video or as a text message. See you then.